welcome to another episode of Straight from the Disc. In this episode we will paint the sash together. The sash, especially compared to the bone armor video before, is quite a bit shorter. Also, like from the level of detail and work that we put into the sash, we want to keep it like as an additional element to have our focus point still on that well and strongly articulated bone armor. Alright, let's see how that looks. Alright, in this chapter we will paint the sash. And the sash is made from, it looks a little bit like leather or skin. And I want to not exactly paint it in skin color because I think that would be like a little bit too, I wouldn't say close to the figure, but I think it is not giving us the contrast that I want. And if we look at the palette, you can see we still have the messy palette from the bone going on, and I've added a bit of the secret weapon Alt Rust here to the lower side, and the Alt Rust is kind of like a desaturated brownish purple. So I think that will be like quite a nice base tone. We're working with somewhat between light and medium base tone consistency, and I'm just using that here to cover everything first with like a semi-translucent base coat. And you can see we're now working a bit thinner. I've added a bit more water from the cup. And you can see, because we've been using slightly more diluted paint here on the top of the sash, this already gives us quite a nice bit here of detailing from just the wash and the spray paint foundation. You can see here it's relatively darker compared to this one, but we will work our way up, and this is also one reason why I kept the bone palette from before, because I want to use our same base tone here, and I want to use it together with some of the Alt Rust here, and I think the combination should give us something that is a little bit closer to what we would estimate like as like an average skin tone color. And the combination is really nice. It gives us a matte but undead look here to the skin, or to that material.
here we have to be a bit careful. It's still wet down there, and we don't want to drag that up into our highlight. So I'm continuing a bit more here on the area where it's already a bit more dry, and we're continuing here with more of our bone-like skin color in there. I'm adding a bit more here of the base tone, a bit more white. Okay, I like the contrast up here, and I'm just going to do like a tiny bit brighter highlights here on these to achieve a similar contrast. Okay, I think I will just continue detailing out this area here, and we'll do some of these repetitive steps here off cam. But I think as the next thing I would go ahead and use like a dark wash. Here in this case we're using also again the wildwood, and I would apply that here carefully to all of these stitches. And also carefully here in between the seam lines. And I'm also using it here carefully in between the layers of material. And continue here with the wildwood in the back of the brush, and a little bit of the Schmincke titanium white on the tip. Okay, so I think you got where this is going. These loaded brushes really help to get like small sparkly lights on them, on these stitches here. We don't want them to look like too metallic, so we have to be careful with that, but we will check that once the other ones are in place. And yeah, let me just continue here with the top of the sash off cam, and we'll be back to bring the things together. Alright, this is how the sash looks now, with the highlights established and also the details here on the top worked out a bit better. And I really like the look, I love the color contrast, but I think we still want to add a little bit of that contrast wildwood here for color variation and also to deepen some of the shadows. Okay, and we'll do that very careful. We're also using it a bit thinner. As discovered, I'm just applying it here, but we're working with like medium glaze tone consistency, I'm just applying it to a few areas here to get a little bit of color variation going on. And we're continuing here. Now I'm applying it a bit more generously here on the shadow area. Yeah, I like the look of that. Okay, so I think I would, for that sash, the level of detail here is good. It really works as like a supportive element to the skin, and also tonal wise we have that lovely contrast here of, it's almost like a complementary contrast with the yellows that we have going on here and the purple tones in the shadows, but as both colors are muted, the contrast isn't all that strong. Also, we used like the wildwood as a dark shadow color, and also the base tone here for our bone to bring the two together. This way we achieve like a contrasted but harmonious result. Alright, hope you like that. See you for the next episode.
Alright, now that the sash is painted, I think it's really nice to see what I mentioned in the beginning, that the sash is just a really nice supportive element to the detailed bone armor. We have these nice matte surface texture in the end, and we don't have a lot of detail that the eye would catch up and focus on. So the eye is really more focused on the details of the nice bone armor. Alright, let's see how we tackle the head in the next video.